So, have you ever heard of the 12-minute rule? And I'm not talking about like the 12-second rule or whatever the rule is that you have at home for when food falls on the floor. I'm talking about a 12-minute rule. Well, the 12-minute rule is used by people like presenters at conferences and workshops and professional development. And the rule states that you need to change things up at least every 12 minutes to maintain the audience's focus and attention. So why? Well, that's because there's a theory that suggests that us as human beings, we can't focus our attention on a single activity for more than 12 minutes. And so if we think about if the average human can't focus their attention for more than 12 minutes, our average little humans that we teach, ages 5 to 10 years old, how long can we expect them to focus their attention? I mean, what is a elementary student's attention span? Have you ever felt like that you could be dancing on the table and they aren't even paying attention to you? Um, I mean, you could set a timer. I mean, start reading a book to them, start doing an activity, start doing something, and just give them time. And you doing some direct instruction. How long are they watching you? How long are they paying attention to you? So, what does this mean for our instruction? Well, it means that our students need to be active learners. And they need to be engaged in their learning. And how often do they need to be engaged in it? I mean, obviously we know they need to be doing things. We're just not talking to them all day long, that they need to be doing things. But how often do they need to be doing things? Well, about every 5 to 6 minutes, they need to be doing something. And can think of some simple strategies, and I'm going to give you a few in a little bit, but that we need to be doing with them every about 5 to 6 minutes. But there's a certain key to these strategies is that we are not having a single person or a handful of people engaged. We are having everybody engaged as an active learner. Everybody is doing something. So don't think of, okay, I'm going to stop every 5 to 6 minutes and ask a question, and some kids will raise their hands and I can ask those kids. Everybody is not being engaged at that time, and we need everybody, not just handful of students engage every 5 to 6 minutes. So this is not something that I can look at my watch and go, oh, I need to do something engaging. What should I do right now while I'm in the middle of a lesson? Or just stopping and doing a turn to your partner. We need to think about when is a natural spot to do that. Where in my lessons is a good stopping point? Where is something that I can insert an activity, a strategy for something the students to do at that time? And it starts with our lesson plans. So let's think of some things that we can do. So I've got a couple of strategies for you. The first one is asking questions, asking some wondering and noticing questions. And then the students can put it on a Post-it note. And you can collect them and talk about them. They can do it on a Jamboard, and you can see their responses, read a couple of the responses out loud later on. You can organize them. You can do something with the Post-its. Think about it like when you're doing a read aloud, possibly nonfiction read aloud. You can ask some either or questions of the students. You know, you're reading a story, and do you think that Despero should be going down the stairs right now into the dungeon? Hold up your card, green if yes, red if no. Or maybe you're teaching a concept like volcanoes. Do you think that the Hawaiian Islands were formed by shield volcanoes or by composite volcanoes? Green if you think shield, red if you think composite volcanoes. So every single student is engaging in that action. We've used turn to a partner, but one thing I want to caution you is that that's something that takes practice doing, just like so many of our routines. Don't think that turn to your partner can't work unless you've taught your students how turn to your partner works. But turning to your partner allows everybody to express their thinking in the class by taking turns. Think about when you're doing a writing piece and you've just taught about dialogue. Turn to your partner and talk to your partner about where you could insert dialogue into the paper that you're writing right now. You could do a lineup, create a line, real or imaginary, in the room, and present an issue. And the students line up, and they either totally agree or they totally disagree. Go to this side if you totally agree. Go to that side if you totally disagree. The The students are all up, they're all moving, they're all taking a stand and picking a side. And then you can call on a couple of units to explain, why did you choose this stand here? Or they could turn and talk to each other about why they chose that stand, and then share out as a group. If you're sitting on a rug or in a shared space or just traveling to someplace else and there's some movement, give the students a clipboard, pre-program it. You give each student a clipboard that has some Post-its on it, and stop at key points and have them reflect on their learning or answer a question on a Post-it on a clipboard. Do brain dumps. It can be as you're teaching a concept in the middle of it. It can be at the end of a concept, maybe even a strategy. Have them write everything they just learned down on paper and explain it in writing. That could be in a journal. Stop in the middle of a lesson and have students write or share something that it connects to that they already know. So you've talked about a concept, we're expanding on it. How does this relate to this? How does this relate to something that you've learned previously in another grade level, or something that you know that's happened into your life? And have them stop and make those connections during the lesson. If you're starting a lesson with a hook, it might be a picture, it might be a video. Come back to it and see how they built their learning. I did a lesson on natural resources, and I showed them a picture. We were going to talk about hydroelectricity, and I showed them a black and white picture of the Hoover Dam being built. No context to it whatsoever. What do you notice about this? What are you wondering? And they recorded their answers. As we went through the lesson, I had them revisit that picture. Now, think about what we've learned. Have you noticed anything else? Have you learned anything that you can make a connection to this? Expand on what you know now. Are you wondering anything else now? And continue that way until the end of the lesson. Again, that can be on Post-its, on a Jamboard, in a journal, on a piece of paper, on a graphic organizer. But they are stopping, they are reflecting, and they are thinking, and they are engaged, every single person in the lesson, every 5 to 6 minutes. I'd say 6 minutes. Start off with 6 minutes. Give it a try. When you're lesson planning, just try one lesson. Work with your grade level partners. Come up with just one lesson that you could give this strategy a try. And if you'd like some help, I would love to be there to help you with this. Doug Lavoff, the author of Teach Like a Champion 3.0, just came back out if you like his books. I read a article by him in the Los Angeles Times, and he said, we shouldn't want to go back to the same instructional methods pre-pandemic. We shouldn't want to go back to normal because that wasn't working. Our nation as a whole was broken. Our schools were broken. Instruction was broken. Kids were not progressing like they should. So we need to change things. This could be something that you give a try, something that is a change in your instruction. You got nothing to lose. If you want some help with it, if you got any other strategies that you would like to share them with me. I can spread the word. Hope you guys enjoy your weekend. And as always, thanks for giving me a listen.